Welcome to Karak Convos with Sahar Alansari
and Gibran Al-Bader.
So today we're at Lusail Marina and we have a beautiful guest, Julia.
Firstly, thank you so much for having me.
You've been here since you were 3. So you've seen how much Qatar has evolved, especially like Lusail City. Like back then, it wasn't even announced.
No, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your experience with Lusail City.
When I first moved here, obviously, this was literally a desert. You know, Lusail wasn't even a city. It wasn't even in the talks. Didn't even have buildings, no bricks. I remember my friend lived in Zigzag Tower and she had the direct view of Lusail, what was supposed to be Lusail. And back then there was just one building and it was pure desert and it's the Lego, Lego tower.
Oh, yes.
And that was my first glimpse of what Lusail was going to be. Obviously, they started quite smart because they started with a tower that is
monumental.
Yeah, exactly. Like it sticks out, right? So everyone from there was already like, what is this place? What are they going to do, right? So it was very nice.
Definitely. I remember that. I actually remember driving out here just to see them. Because they're so exciting, like something so new, and we haven't seen that in Doha before.
100%.
One thing I really like, I'm wondering your impression, because from our impression, I remember one day we just woke up and we're like, wow, like we visited, we drove through the streets and the beautiful marina, and I remember bringing my kids to play, and I was like, this place is so peaceful and so beautiful, and like I need to come here more often. But that was the realization of when I felt like the project was like came to life. So when did you feel that the project came to life and it wasn't a project, it was a city?
I think the biggest pivot moment was, I would say, a year before the World Cup. That's when we really started to see Lusail coming to life. That was when everything popped up, right? We had everyone coming from outside for the World Cup, managers, all different type of people, and they were putting them here, obviously, in this beautiful, I would say it's like a little oasis away from the city, the old city. But I would definitely say coming up to the World Cup was the biggest transition where I'm like, okay, this is becoming a city.
I have a question because she mentioned World Cup so many times. voy a preguntar en español.
Obvio.
Okay? Entonces, ya sabes que Argentina ganó aquí. Era
Por
súper
supuesto,
famoso.
sí.
¿Cuál es el sentido de ver Messi ganar la Copa Mundial aquí en Qatar, específicamente en Lusail?
Para mí ver a Messi ganar la Copa obviamente es un orgullo, más que nada porque es Messi, todo el mundo, todos en Argentina lo queremos mucho, vemos todo lo que sufrió. Pero yo creo que más que Messi, ver a Messi ganar, más que eso, lo que a mí me impresionó mucho fue ver a mis dos países, Argentina y Qatar, unidos. ¿No?
Genial,
para mí
sí.
eso fue el shock más grande, ver Argentina, mi país, que yo nunca pude vivir en Argentina porque siempre estuve acá, ver que mi país ganó en mi país.
During the World Cup, I think one of the most, like for you especially being from Argentina, seeing the Argentinian flag all over the Lusail buildings.
Everywhere.
Messi's face everywhere. And of course, the Lusail Stadium.
Yes.
And then having the walk outside, everybody celebrating.
The things that I like now is how Argentina and Qatar are recognized together. You know, how if I go to Argentina, I don't have to explain where I am, I just say, World Cup, Qatar, Lusail. Oh, you went to Lusail Stadium. Oh, how is Lusail? We want to go to Lusail, And I think that's the beauty of the two contrasts.
I think one of the things that we love specifically is our date nights, because we get to have our dinner in the best restaurants from all over the world, just right here on Maha Island. Yeah. And so how do you feel like when you see all of these restaurants that you can have, like, for example, in Miami? I'm sure there are a few restaurants that, that are super niche that you would want to try, to travel to the country to try, and it's right here on Maha Island.
Yeah, that makes me just feel like I don't ever want to leave. Like, these things aren't reality in other places, and I think we are very fortunate here that Qatar does allow us to have that. And now they're also opening like branches that you would never even think of trying because they're US based or they're in the UK, and then suddenly they're popping
That's true.
everywhere
All
here,
over
and
the
you're
place
like,
here.
well, why would I travel? I've got everything here at this point.
So your expectations have changed over time living in Qatar, and not much basically impresses you after living there.
Zero. It's very hard to impress me. I would say Doha has a very mellow life. It's a very easy life and a lifestyle that once you know it, you don't want to go back. You know, especially being here in Lusail, you know, you have the marina, you've got the restaurants, you got the coffee shops, you know, you can just walk around, do whatever you need, and it's safe. You're not scared. You know, I think that is truly something that a lot of people would wish they could live.
I know one thing that you've been wanting to ask Julia that we spoke about earlier is a lot of people, especially from our generation, their dreams come true, and we feel like it's because they see the vision of Qatar and how, for example, Lusail went from being land to, mashallah, a whole city.
Did it give you like some sort of motivation to open your bakery?
I mean, 100%, right? You know, we all saw the big boom of cafes. I would say like 8 years ago or so, suddenly there were cafes opening up everywhere. And by this point, the idea of the bakery was brewing in my head. My dad wanted me to be a pilot, wanted me to stick to the same career as them. And then suddenly I realized, no, like if I can have something of my own, why wouldn't I? And seeing the growth of the country, seeing everybody doing, you know, their businesses, seeing everyone around me wanting to be successful made me also want to be like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it as well.
For
right?
sure.
Do you think that people are thinking bigger and differently compared to before?
Yeah, I mean, you know how people only come to Doha for 1 year to save money and then they're leaving?
They're mistaken always.
And then it's 2 years and then suddenly it's 3, 4, and then a decade later you realize you have your kids and your family here and you're like, what happened, right? I think a lot of people are starting to see the potential in Qatar, the growth, what you can have here that you can't necessarily have in other countries, you know. Initially, right, everything is tied up to higher salaries, better quality of life. So what are people doing? They're investing, right? Whether that is in their own personal ideas or whether that is, you know, back home. And they see the doors that this country is obviously opening for other people.
What would be your perfect day here in Lusail? Can you describe it a little bit?
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously the views that you would have waking up to any of these buildings are already so beautiful. So that would obviously make you want to go outside and have a walk. My perfect day would probably start off somewhere having coffee. I am a huge fan of coffee and we live in the perfect country for that because there's 1,000,005 coffee shops. So I would probably start my day there, go for a walk, you know. What would you say is your day? Like if you were to wake up in Lusail Marina, right? What would you say is something that you would love to do?
I like to do it the Qatari way. Maybe
That's
take
where I
the
was
Land
going.
Cruiser.
That's exactly where I was going.
Have your Karak.
Have the Karak in the car.
Exactly
and this
where I
is
was
the
going.
perfect place, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different perspectives that one can have of the same city, you know, and that's where culture comes in. Qatar is full of culture, and I think people live it through different ways and different eyes, and I think that's the beauty of it, right? Because you can kind of make it your home through your own ways.
For sure.
You know?
Well, thank you so much. We really enjoyed hosting you.
No, thank you.
And we can't wait to see the rest of your dreams come true, whatever they may be.
That's
We're
so
excited
kind.
to
Thank
see
you.
it.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It was so much fun, really.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.